CSR, it stands for Corporate Social Responsibility. Unfortunately, the responsibility part has always been seen as liability by the Indian corporates. This is despite the fact that India is among those countries where CSR has been mandated by legislation. As a matter of fact, the Indian Companies Act, Section 135, mandates the profit-making corporates to spend 2% of their profits into CSR. Despite this, if we look at the ground realities in this part of the world, CSR probably stands for something which is a spending, and CSR could be spelled as compulsive, serial, repetitive. Mind you, we are talking about some of the most established and matured industries who have failed to formulate the right kind of CSR strategy in this country. If we look at CSR in the global context, probably India won't figure anywhere among the top nations having the right kind of CSR strategy. It is in this backdrop that when a sector like real estate, which is not a very matured sector, which is not a very known for professionally driven sector, when somebody in the real estate talks about CSR, one can easily imagine something like distributing food or distributing blankets and taking a selfie out of it to announce it as CSR, to glorify it as something that could change the world. When I was invited to review the CSR program by one of the leading real estate companies in India, I had therefore my share of skepticism, I had my share of doubts. However, as I come to Palakkad district of Kerala to review the CSR of Sobha Limited, I realized this is the kind of CSR strategy that the Indian corporates should adopt. This is based in one of the nondescript locations of Palakkad district, and very few people know the kind of work that has been done by Sobha. This CSR program, run through a charitable trust, basically has three verticals that takes care of education, healthcare, and through a BPL program takes care of elderly people as well as the young widows. As a matter of fact, the developer has adopted 6 villages out of 3 panchayats in this district and runs a comprehensive and holistic CSR program. This is one of those programs which could easily be showcased as India's answer to some of the best global CSR programs. And it's not, what makes this CSR program even more credible is the fact that it's not just to spend 2% of the profits. As a matter of fact, the CSR spending of Sobha Limited is somewhere around 5% for the last 3-4 consecutive years. This program, now over a decade old, it was actually conceptualized in the year 2006, has gained ground in this part of the world to the extent that even the government officials, even the panchayat officials in this part of the world vouch for it. What could be the learning out of such a CSR program? Well, frankly speaking, there are 3 things which really differentiates Sobha CSR from the rest in this country. One is the commitment and involvement of the top management. Second is the beneficiary perspective. The beneficiary are also chosen through the in-house screening of BPL and to find out the real beneficiary, and the Sobha Limited continuously monitors the BPL population in this part of the world to make sure that right kind of people are being given the benefits of this program. Last but not the least is, this is one CSR program which has a long-term roadmap. Mostly the CSR programs failed because the gestation period is a few years. After that, the goal of the developer is over, or goal of the corporate house is over in that given region, whereas for Sobha, it's one of those programs which have a very long-term roadmap. With this is Ravi Sinha, Track2Realty.